Am I the asshole for assuming my sister Erin was more interested in talking about herself than me during her toast at my wedding? So I, 26F, and here's what happened. My fiancé Tobias and I have been together for 5 years, and we're getting married to our friends and family. We decided to keep the guest list small and intimate, with only 50 people invited. Erin was one of the bridesmaids, and she was also in charge of giving a toast during the reception. As we were eating dinner, I noticed Erin chatting with Darius, another groomsman, about their fantasy football league. They were laughing and joking around, and I couldn't help but notice that it seemed like they were having way more fun than the rest of us who were trying to celebrate our special day. When it was time for the speeches, Tobias went first and gave a heartfelt speech about me. Erin was beaming with pride, which made sense since she's always been my biggest supporter. When it was her turn to give a toast, I thought to myself that this would be a great opportunity for her to talk about how much she loves me or what our relationship means to her. But nope. Instead of saying anything remotely related to me, Erin spent the entire 3 to 4 minutes talking about herself. She bragged about her own accomplishments, like getting a promotion at work and paying off her student loans. She also shared some embarrassing stories about our childhood, including how she once got kicked out of my room for being too loud. I was surprised to hear her mention that Tobias had finally found someone who can keep up with him, implying that I'm somehow less capable than Erin. To make matters worse, when the other guests started clapping and cheering for more, Erin didn't even acknowledge me or say anything about me. She just kept talking, like she was trying to steal the show. By the end of her speech, I felt embarrassed and uncomfortable, like I was being upstaged by my own sister. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for kicking Marin out of our group chat after she made a hurtful comment about Camille's new engagement? So I, 31F, and here's what happened. We had this group chat started with me, my mom, my sister Fletcher, and our friend Camille, where we all regularly share updates about our lives. Recently, Marin joined, and at first, she seemed cool enough to fit in. However, things took a turn when she made a comment that was dismissive of Camille's relationship and said it would never work out. I was taken aback by her tone, but I didn't think much of it and let it slide. Fast forward to last night, we were all chatting about our plans for the weekend. Marin brings up how she has a free Saturday and starts making jokes about Camille's partner being unemployed and supposedly living off Camille's entitlement. She also implies that Camille is only with him because of his money, which hurt me deeply as I'm close to Camille and we share similar values. I told Marin she was out of line, but she brushed it off. When I confronted her about it again earlier today in the chat, she got defensive and started making jokes about my family and our financial situation. That's when I realized that her comments were not just hurtful to Camille but also to me and our whole group. I tried to reason with her and told her that if she couldn't be respectful, then maybe we didn't want her in the chat. I removed Marin from the chat, and now everyone is upset with me because they think I'm being too harsh or hurtful. Camille thinks it's okay, but Fletcher says I should have just talked to her about it instead of kicking her out. Now Marin's making snide comments on social media saying I'm too sensitive and that our group chat was never about the engagement anyway. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for telling my sister Marin that her 2 kids, aged 6 and 8, are not allowed to attend my wedding? So I, 38F, and here's what happened. I've been planning my special day with Vince, and we decided on a small, intimate gathering at our home in the countryside. We're not having a huge party or anything like that, just a close-knit group of family and friends who will be celebrating with us. However, Marin had other plans. She was going to bring both kids along for what would basically be an extended vacation. I tried to talk to her about it, explaining that we can't accommodate 2 additional children at our home, which is already renting out the space for $1,500 per night, plus utilities. I mentioned that having just one child attend would put a huge strain on Vince's ability to focus on his new job. He just started working as a freelance writer and can barely make ends meet. Marin was insistent that she wanted both kids to be there and that we couldn't possibly leave them out. She even mentioned that the venue rental costs were only $800 per day for a group of up to 50 people. When I told her no, she basically threw a tantrum claiming that I was being cruel and heartless, and that this was all about Marin's kids being more important than our own child. When Vince chimed in from the side, suggesting we could offer childcare services on site for an additional $500 per day, Marin was livid. She shouted at us, saying you're just going to leave them behind because you don't want to deal with 2 kids. I tried to calm her down and explain our concerns, but she wouldn't listen. Now Marin is refusing to come to the wedding if we can't have both of her kids there. Vince and I are at a loss. We've already sent out invitations that say 1 kid per guest, so it's not like we can just change the rules now. Am I the asshole for setting boundaries and prioritizing our own child's needs?
Am I the asshole for assuming that my friend Nash is just not interested in staying in touch after we stopped regularly talking? So I, 23M, and here's what happened. Wilder and I have been friends since college, and we've always had a pretty casual relationship. We'd hang out every now and then, but nothing too serious. Last year, Zara moved to another state for her job, which meant she was only going to be available to talk maybe once a month at best. Nash got into grad school and started working full-time, so his free time became super limited. I get it, priorities. We still talked every now and then, but it wasn't like we were texting each other every day or anything. I remember one time, Wilder and I had gotten into a bit of an argument over something stupid, probably just some dumb joke that went too far. It was nothing huge, but we both said some stuff we didn't mean, and then just kinda shut down on the conversation. After that, I don't know if it was just me being lazy or what, but I stopped reaching out to Wilder first whenever we were supposed to catch up. I figured he was busy enough without having to worry about me calling him all the time. The thing is, when Nash and I did talk on one of those monthly calls, he kind of let it slip that I wasn't making an effort to stay in touch as much. He said something like, "Hey, man, Wilder was just talking about you the other day." And then he proceeded to tell me all these stories about what Wilder had been up to, but basically told me that our friendship had kind of fallen by the wayside. I tried to apologize and explain that I hadn't meant for things to go like that, but Nash wasn't having it. He said something that really stuck with me: "If you weren't making an effort, why did I even bother calling you all these months?" And honestly, I got kinda defensive about it. I'm still fuming about the whole thing, and I know I might have been unfair to Nash for expecting him to always be there. But at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't just take the fall for not reaching out as much as I should've. So AITA?